Hey, welcome into the last call on the next round presented by Redmont Vodka. I'm Lance Taylor. We are live at Saul's Juke Joint right here in Crestline Park, and we are joined by the one and only singer, songwriter, actor, restaurateur, Taylor Hicks.
Keep going.
Cheers. How are you, brother?
I'm good, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you. I've been waiting to taste this. So this is a Redmont transfusion. I got to tell you what's in this real quick.
That's a pretty popular drink around town.
I think all the golfers are drinking the transfusion.
I've had plenty of transfusions on the golf course before.
So 2 ounce Redmont vodka, grape juice, lime juice, ginger ale is fantastic. So let's go back. Young Taylor Hicks, around the age of 8, bad allergies led you to staying inside, not playing outside. You discovered Ray Charles, which ultimately led to your love of music.
It's pretty much spot on. Yeah, I mean, a lot of allergies as a kid, and especially around here, you know, you get your immune system is not developed enough, so it really attacks you. I mean, pollen. If you got pollen allergies around this,
it didn't hit me till 26. Completely sucks. I hate it.
Yeah, I mean, so it shut my eyes. All the gunk, you know, closed my eyes, and I felt like that at that point, the musical ear that, you know, I feel like I was given by genes, you know, it was developed a little quicker and more acutely than you know, someone that actually could go outside during the springtime and see.
Ray Charles was your first love, though, right?
Ray Charles was.
What was the song?
Yeah, probably Georgia, something like that. You know, I mean, I got into Ray probably when I was around 8 or 9, and you know, that affinity for soul music, you know, took off because, yeah, he was blind, you know, and to a certain degree, I was listening to music. I was kind of blind. I was kind of blind too, you know. So that music, you know, just, you know, I mean, you can hear a man's heartbreak in Ray Charles's voice. I was very fortunate to have Ray Charles be the root of my musical tree.
Look, I know how important family is to you. You and I have known each other for, 15, 16, 17, almost 20 years.
Yeah.
I found out recently, and I don't know if this is true or false, were you an Easter bunny at a mall one time?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Well, that was actually one of my first gigs that
Do you still have the Easter bunny costume? You busted out on dates?
No, you know, I graduated from the Easter Bunny to like Huey, Dewey, and Louie, which is, you know, the Donald Ducks and the Disney. So any sort of, I didn't do Santa Claus because we had a singing Santa Claus at the time.
Well, and, you could have done that. You could have been the singing Easter Bunny.
Yeah, you know, that was a tough gig because it was, you know, around April you could get into the 80 and 90 degree mark. Even though the mall was cool, those costumes.
That's a hot ass costume.
That is a for real costume.
And when you got to take a piss, what do you do?
Nothing. I mean, you hold it for, I mean, especially if the mall's busy.
You can diaper up, right?
I mean, I didn't think about that, but, you know, I had very few breaks.
We're talking to Taylor Hicks, singer, songwriter, restaurateur, actor. He does it all. He's part owner of Saul's Juke Joint, which we're at right here, Crestline Park. This is the last call on the next round presented by our friends at Redmont Vodka. We're drinking a transfusion. It's fantastic.
It's really good.
By the way.
Cheers. Yeah, this is a good drink.
Okay, so fate is a weird thing. And there was that movie, I never saw it, Sliding Doors, where somebody misses a subway, and if they would have gotten on the subway, something happens. You've told this story multiple times, but I think for a lot of people that have never heard it, it's pretty amazing. So August 29th of 2005, Hurricane Katrina hits New Orleans. And for a lot of people, their lives are impacted forever. They never change. You were in New Orleans. This story, for whatever reason, gives me chills because you're in a cab. You're on your way to the airport. You're going to get a flight back to Birmingham. Your flight gets canceled because of Hurricane Katrina. I think the story goes, you've got a one-way ticket anywhere in America. Your brother convinces you to go to Las Vegas.
I was in Las Vegas. He convinced me to go to the convention center to try out.
So you went to Las Vegas just to go to Las Vegas?
I went to Vegas because I'd never been to Vegas. And I went through Katrina, so I pulled up to, you know, in a rent-a-car and said, what the hell, I'll go to Vegas. I've got this ticket. So I went to Vegas. I got to Vegas about 12:45 at night.
By yourself?
By myself, backpack, oversized Ashworth golf shirt, one pair of underwear.
Having to beat the women off of you, right?
Yeah, really, shell shocked. It was like, you take an Alabamian that's never been to Vegas. It's like,
so that was your first time.
First time, bright lights, big city. My brother says, you need to go down and get in line at the convention center and try out for Idol. So I walked in at 3:00 in the morning, and I was in line, and I tell people that everybody was asking me where my kids were that were auditioning because I looked so much older than literally.
Well, you had the parameters. I think the parameters then were 16 to 28, right? 16 to 29.
28.
Okay, and you're like 27 in 364 days.
Yes.
You're right under the mark,
yeah,
right?
Like literally like 15, 16 days, 20, 25 days, I would have not made the cut. But they checked my license. They literally
They didn't believe you.
They really did not believe that I was actually the age that I was. But it checked out. And then, once I started singing and stuff, they're
like, shit, this guy can sing.
Yeah, let's listen to this dude and see what he does.
Were you ever uncomfortable, like walking in and seeing a bunch of teenagers just hanging out? Like, what the hell am I doing here?
I'd been around enough to know what the opportunity is if you catch your break. And that was the break that I needed. I didn't realize how big the break would be. I just knew that at that point in time, I could go back home and probably play some really good sorority and fraternity parties.
Your signature look is your signature look. Now, shit, we're old enough that we just got gray hair.
Right.
But back then, you turned gray at 14, right?
Yeah, I'm gray at 14. And I was fully gray probably by 20. So probably by 30, I was fully
But you've
gray.
always embraced it. I guess the word was the producers of Idol were like, you got to look a certain way. If you're going to somehow win this thing, we got to market to you. We know what a pop star looks like, and a 28-year-old gray-headed dude ain't a pop star. So did they try to get you to color the hair?
They did. They tried, but I just look. I think that I think that they understood like I was connecting with Middle America. They're smart enough, and they know what the pulse is. So I think as much as they wanted to change me, they knew that like something was going on, which was good for ratings. And I was connecting with, and the fact that look, you have to have a lot of stars align. So the parent company at the time that owned American Idol was the 50%, the minority owner of Elvis's estate. So they were pushing. We did Elvis Week.
I remember Elvis Week.
So
because you were in the ghetto, right?
Yeah. So they, this is one of those layers to that show that not a lot of people really understand. There's so many layers. One of those layers that was advantageous for me was that they didn't mind having this Southern kind of funky white, Elvis kind of dude on their show, because then they could legitimately push the Elvis agenda on the show, which where they own.
Well, honestly, man, and I think I told you this before. So, I was doing a show with Tony Curry, a Birmingham rock legend. This is back in probably 2004, 2005, and you would come in studio. So we got to know each other. You and Brian Les would come in, and you guys would play. When I found out you were going to do Idol, I was like, I think it's brilliant. I said, he's got not a chance in hell of winning this thing, but he's unique enough and talented enough that I think he could be in the top 12. And like you said, I think he'll be able to make money for the rest of his life based on that. But I didn't think you had a chance in dick of winning that thing.
Well, chin.
I was completely wrong. I had Catherine McPhee, really. That was one of my small talents in life.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Lance had Catherine McPhee on that.
I swear, I can guess within 3 years of a celebrity's birthday, and I used to be able to pick the American Idol winner outside of your season, and I had Catherine McPhee, and she was the runner-up. Speaking of that season, though, so Super Bowl 55 last year averaged 102 million viewers. If you go back to May 24th of 2006, the night you won Idol, there were 200 million worldwide viewers. You guys were beating Super Bowl numbers. Idol is still a tangible, respectable product, but it ain't what it was in season 5. Those numbers are crazy. Did you even realize when you were doing it how many people were watching it? How did you not shit your pants?
Look, I started figuring out once that, we were on the Fold, and USA Today was obviously a big newspaper back then.
I
Everybody
love
read it.
dropping 50 cents every day.
I mean,
That was my go-to.
Everybody, read it. And, once you started actually showing up on the Fold of that newspaper, whether it was like my face or Daughtry's face or Catherine's or Kelly's, then you started realizing that you're on the Fold. It's the first thing that people see. You think about how many millions and millions of newspapers those were, and you're on the Fold.
Every hotel, too, in America had USA Today. Every hotel.
I mean, once you started figuring, even though that you were in the bubble, so to speak, you started figuring out that this was way bigger than you would imagine it to be. But even then, it was bigger than that because you didn't realize how many people were watching that show outside of America. I mean, there was really, truly legitimate interest in the show, from an international perspective,
Hey, so we are doing the last call here on the next round. It's presented by our friends at Redmont Vodka. We're about to finish up this transfusion. We're going to go to drink number 2 here in a second. We're at Saul's Juke Joint. Great place to have dinner. The best thing is obviously the pork and greens, right?
Well, I don't think that there's a bad item in the house. I mean, Saul's has been around a good 20 years now in the communities. We've got 4 shops, Avondale. We got one out in Leeds now. We got this one. We got the food truck. So we're just blessed that we've got great food and people love it. And, it's Alabama barbecue, and that's what people love. It's not hard to promote it because it's good.
So last call continues on the next round, presented by Redmont Vodka. We're live at Saul's Juke Joint right here in Crestline Park. Of course, we're the one and only Taylor Hicks. We have got now a Redmont Mule. Cheers again. So this is 2 ounces of Redmont Vodka, fresh lime juice, the ginger beer, fresh mint, and lime slice. Let's try this thing out.
And an Uber.
We will be Ubering tonight, I promise you that. Okay, so just a few more idle questions. You get inundated, worn out by this. But still, it's just a fascinating machine that's still printing money. And I think Katy Perry's making like $40 fucking million a year doing Idlewild right now, which is crazy. So once you're in the top 3, I think it was Elliot Yamin, Catherine McPhee, who I had my money on, and then you. When I saw you do, and I was never a Joe Cocker guy. I know you're a big Joe Cocker guy. You're So Beautiful. It's one of those songs that is transcendent. I think anybody that likes music respects and embraces that song. But when you did that song, I was like, I think you might have just won Idol. I don't know when your moment was that. Now, Leave On was awesome from Elton John. I think it was top 12. But when you did You're So Beautiful, I was like, shit, I think you might have just won.
Well, that was actually picked by Randy Jackson, and that was something that, it just made sense for me to do a Cocker song. When I was in Las Vegas, the producer Nigel Lithgow, who just got his star on the Walk of Fame, produced numerous Idol shows. America's Got Talent. Was a really, really poignant and really great producer. First time that I'd ever been produced. I never will forget it. I walked outside and I just performed on the audition, and he said, he goes, I don't really want to see Joe Cocker. He said, I want to hear Taylor Hicks. And that was just a profound thing to hear from that producer, because even though he was going to play on the Joe Cocker angle, which he didn't until the end of the show, but the fact that he wanted to hear Taylor Hicks was also a testament to what the show is the byproduct of after you win, which is you got to sell records.
No, I get that. But, one of the things was make it your own. And I think that was more of a Randy thing, and it became a big thing with Idol. But as an artist, when you grow up with a guy like Joe Cocker, and that's in your wheelhouse, it's hard, I would assume, for you to not do Joe Cocker like Joe Cocker, because you grew up listening to that, and that is kind of your genre.
Absolutely. And I do, every now and then I'll do like a Joe Cocker tribute show, which is really cool. And it's fun to sing because I got to hang out with Joe Cocker when I was on Idol, and believe it or not, this is probably one of the greatest moments of being able to be in music was that I just wandered into their trailer. You know, I got somehow I commandeered Joe Cocker and Barry Gibb to come back to my trailer and sit down and talk to me.
Wait,
And-
did they know who you were?
Yeah, they did, and I remember I just said, look, I mean, that's kind of the mentality that I've always had in music, is that you got to go get it. Like, you got to go tell people that you can sing. You got to go. You can't let an opportunity. When I was on that show, man, there were so many angles that I was working. I wasn't going to let the opportunity. I mean,
Well, I think that's why you won.
I was
Because
giving
think
everybody CDs.
I think most of these kids were like literally 18, 19, 20. They didn't know anything about the business. You know, they had their whole lives in front of you. You were like, shit, if I don't get this done, I mean, what am I going to do?
Exactly. I mean, literally, what the fuck am I going to do?
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, I guess that was just years and years of playing
And that's
around here.
pressure. Like, nobody else had pressure there.
No.
I mean, I guess the pressure of performing in front of millions of people.
Yeah, but the pressure of not having a career in something that you've always wanted to have a career in since you were a kid. I mean, I was for some weird reason I was perfecting the autograph in science class in 9th grade.
Because you knew
So
you were going to make it.
I had the T, the H, and the I.
Your dad told you you're an idiot, though, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
my family was. Look,
They were realists.
my grandfather was retired from Monocast department at SIPCO, 35 years. So I was a big brunt of the jokes during Thanksgiving up until I was 28. You know, when is this dude? What is this dude? When is this dude?
God.
You know, so, but that all, you know, I kept, you know, the vision and materialized the vision when it happened, and, you know, luckily was sober enough to understand that that was an opportunity, because you can get lost in the bars at night and going up and down the road. And then, you know, I had a really great mentor, Rock Kilo's a really great. He pulled me aside one night at the Floribama. He shoved me in the freezer, and he looked at me, and I was sweating. And
Was this pre or post-Idol?
Pre-Idol. And he grabbed me by the collar, and he's got these overalls on. These old, you know, beautiful songwriters, wrote with Willie. He was down there, had overalls on, big beard and stuff. He pushed me in there, and he grabbed me by the collar, and he said, son, he said, you're going to get one shot at this thing. He said, if you're not sober enough to answer, he said, you're going to be in bad shape. I mean, pull me, yank me. I mean,
So that stuck with you.
it stuck with me for a long time until it happened, because it made me realize that, you know, this is lightning in a bottle here.
So I'm going to get away from Idol, but I want to ask you about Simon Cowell. Is he the self-centered, limey fuck that a lot of people portray him as? Or is he more of a guy that you could actually sit down with, have a drink, dinner? I think you told me back in the day you actually used to smoke cigarettes with him, maybe?
Cools.
He smokes Cools?
You know, I mean, I was like, you know,
Better yet, do you smoke Cools?
I mean, I was
Whatever Simon's gonna smoke.
I was trying to get my hands on anything I could back then, actually. You know, just because, I mean, I was under a lot of stress, you know, and I mean, we couldn't go out of our bubble because, you know, we would get either attacked or, you know, I mean, it was pretty hefty, but no, it was like, you know, these are the moments where, you know, I was like, I'm up there. It's like when you move into that situation where you're top four, it's about fan bases. It's not about what the judges say.
Yeah.
I mean, they all understand that.
It legitimately becomes the vote then.
Yeah, legitimately.
But I mean, he influenced the vote up until then.
Yes, he did.
And he didn't like you early on.
No, he didn't. Well, I just wasn't pop material,
Right.
you know. But what's funny though is
And
that
he's got a great eye for talent. I mean, say what you want about the guy, but he does.
he does. He's got. I mean, look what he's done. I mean, he's. But he's, you know, it's funny because the dynamic between Simon Cowell and myself was the same dynamic that every middle American had with someone that they had never met that was British. I mean, Simon Cowell was the first British dude I ever met. Ever. You know, and like
I don't know if I've ever met a British dude.
I was telling people, like, British, like, there's only 2 or 3 British folks in Alabama, and walking around, they're probably lost.
Yeah.
You know, like, there's just not. So that dynamic was like really, real that we had. That, I mean, how does this dude? What is this? I just played Jailhouse Rock. I'm from Alabama. I sing the shit out of some soul music. I dance funky, and he's telling me that Elvis tune wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
You know what? To hell with you, dude. I mean, I'm connecting with middle.
But he finally tapped out. I remember in that season and shit. I mean, again, it's been 16 years ago. I remember him just finally just like.
I've never told anybody this, and I'll tell you this. I remember sitting down with Simon Cowell and Simon Fuller, and we sat down, and I just remember him going like this. He was like, and he said, "You played the game exceptionally well." I was like, what is this fucking Clue? You know?
Hey, this is the last call on the next round presented by Redmont Vodka. We're at Saul's Juke Joint, Crestline Park, with our friend Taylor Hicks. Of course, singer, songwriter, actor. He's done it all, restaurateur. We appreciate him hanging out with us. We are drinking a Redmont Mule right now. It's pretty good.
It is. I mean, look, this Redmont, I've obviously been around it since it's
Well, you know Charles Barkley really well.
I do. I've known Chuck for a long time, and you know, I'm really, you know, look, we sell a ton of vodka, as you can tell. I mean but Redmont is, you know, it's making its peak, you know, and it's a good product.
You were on Broadway doing Grease. I actually came to New York City and had an opportunity to watch you play Teen Angel. I thought it was awesome. 2012, 2013, you had a residency in Vegas, I think at Bally's in Paris. If I asked you from a performer standpoint, what did you enjoy more? Was it Broadway or was it doing the residency? More fulfilling, I will say, as an artist.
Well, the Broadway residency was fulfilling because I was the first idol to do it. That felt good because that was truly something that I actually got to the party before everybody else did.
Yeah.
You know, and now Carrie's doing it. I mean, it's been, but I was excited about that just from a nostalgic perspective. But Broadway was probably, you know, I didn't realize, you know, like I was nervous doing Broadway. You know, I just didn't.
Theater, to me, like stand-up comedy and theater are the toughest things.
I've never done it before, you know, and you know, to be completely 100% honest here, I never saw the movie Grease. So I had no...
Wait, you've never seen... Have you seen it since?
So, half of it. So they gave me 6...
How do you watch fucking half of Grease?
So they gave me...
First or second half?
So they gave me 6 roles on Broadway. They said... So I threw my name in the hat, and they said, we're going to give you 6 roles. So just like Teen Angel in Grease, the guy from, you know, the DJ from Hairspray. So it's interesting how, like, when you're a name, you know, you toss your hat in there and they're like, okay, we'll find you a part,
yeah,
you know, that'll work. And so when they did that, I thought to myself, okay, I knew that Grease was probably the show that would probably bring along the Idol fans. You know, that's a show of music, you know, but I'd never watched it. And, you know, I was at my parents' house, and I told my dad, I said, no, Dad, I said, I think I'm going to take the Teen Angel role in Grease. He said, you ever seen the movie? And I said, I hadn't. And he said,
it's a deep character.
He goes, whatever you do, don't fucking tell them that.
I went to a matinee and I was with a buddy and we came and saw you afterwards and we went out that night. It was a good time. And I told you this, but it's been years ago. But the girl in front of us, we were having a conversation at intermission, and she was from Sydney, Australia. And the reason she came to see Grease was because of you from American Idol. And I'm like, you know, you're coming to see a Broadway play to see this dude from American Idol that's playing this one part of Teen Angel. You're not coming to see that. It was just, I thought it was pretty amazing that you did that.
Well, you know.
But you had a lot of, I remember backstage, people were coming to see you.
Fanaticism is an interesting thing, man. You know, I mean, it's a real thing, and you appreciate it as much as you can, you know, because people do have that, you know, they're a little bit fanatical sometimes about, but a lot of it, you have to understand, especially coming from the medium of television, is, there's a lot of people that are trying to escape through that, and then if you're on TV and, you're their actor or you're their musician or something, they find solace in that. And that's what you have to understand over the years as you deal in this business with people that are, fanatical a little bit. You don't. Luckily for me, they've never been harmful.
Okay, so back to residency, Bally's in Paris. I'll never forget. We had a conversation, and I forgot what the length was, but the longest either you or a bandmate didn't go outside. You stayed in that rat trap that is a Las Vegas resort without seeing sunlight.
3 months.
That's impossible.
In the summer,
it's like being in a submarine.
No. It's summertime. My bass player.
But you got to go to a pool or something, right?
My bass player. So we made a bet that whoever stayed got $200 to the credit or something like that. So my bass player did not walk outside for 2 months. I mean, but it's Vegas though. I mean,
how pale was he?
I mean, he was white as a dinner roll, dude. I mean, it was bad. I mean, we were all pasty in there. I mean, that's a pasty place to live.
It's a fun place, but I can only do 2 nights now. I mean, literally, I booked 3 nights. I do 2 nights. I go home. I cancel the 3rd night. I mean, to do a residency and live there for multiple years, my God. I mean, for you to still be alive is pretty amazing.
I took, and you know what was even crazier is that, so my showroom manager just happened to be Mike Tyson's VIP host. So the access that my showroom manager had with me was kind of the same that he had with Mike. He's actually in Mike's book, and I mean, Mike would come to gigs, he would slide in and
Mike Tyson would come to your gigs.
Yeah, he would come to shows, and I got to know Mike a
little bit. Who did he bring with him?
Man, he was by himself. I love that dude.
Hey, the last call on the next round presented by Redmont Vodka. Our friends here. We're at Saul's Juke Joint, Crestline Park. Taylor Hicks, singer, songwriter, actor, restaurateur, part owner of this great place, is with us. We have now got, we've talked about Charles Barkley. This is his favorite drink, his favorite Redmont drink. It's the Charles Barkley Redmont Cranberry.
You want to hear a funny story?
Shoot. Cheers, by the way.
So cheers to Charles, because if it wasn't for Charles, I wouldn't have the Vegas gig.
Well, how does that work? Did he owe a marker or something? He pawned you off?
So we were in New Orleans, and I was down there for a national championship game in Alabama. I get this call on my phone. It's like, hey, where are you, man? I said, I'm in New Orleans at the game. I said, he said, yeah. He said, I'm down here playing at Harris. I said, well, I'll come down and see you. So I went down and saw him, and I sat there with him. And I gambled with him a little bit. I didn't gamble as like he did. But
next level.
That's next level. But we ended up having some drinks and having a good time. And so one of the Harris executives, which Harris is actually owned by Caesars Entertainment worldwide. So one of the executives comes and says, hey, you guys want to go eat at Ruth's Chris? And Charles was like, you hungry? I was like, yeah, let's go.
It's not bad, Charles, by the way.
I'm going to fight, I'm gonna ride on your coattails this evening, Chuck. And he was like, okay. So we go over to the private room at Ruth's Chris, and I end up sitting by an executive there from Caesars who was in town or something like that, and it was they said, hey Taylor, so like, yeah, I said, I'm doing it. She said, you ever think about playing in Vegas or anything like that? And I said, I'll call you. So Chuck had that. It was that 4 degrees of Charles Barkley.
That is amazing.
So yeah, and then the next thing you know, I get the call, and then I'm working for the Caesars property in Bally's in Paris.
Yeah, normally I've got a good guy that can cut your yard. I've got a good interior designer. I've got a guy that can play residency. It's perfect. Okay, so success has led to a ton of opportunity for you. You've shared the stage with guys like Tom Petty, Widespread Panic, Snoop Dogg. If I asked you, of the late Tom Petty, Widespread Panic, and Snoop Dogg, who smokes the most weed? Who would it be?
Snoop.
Not even close?
Yeah, I don't think it. No, I did a gig with Snoop at City Stages. He and I had he and I had the same manager at the time. The firm, his manager is Constance, and I think she still is his manager. And my manager was with Quantnitz at the firm. So I just, I asked, I said, look, I said, Snoop is playing at one of my festivals that I grew up playing in town. I said, do you think I could call him and talk to him about putting blues harp on gin and juice? And like, had anybody ever put blues harp on rap music in general? Was there any been sort of? So I ended up calling him, and we ended up talking and stuff, and he said, yeah, he said, come down to, he said, talk to my band. So we got, I was like, all right, so Gin and Juice is like in the key of E, right? The band, and luckily he had like a 5 or 6 piece band he was traveling with. He said, just come down to the gig, and just come find me. So like, this was like, right after I won, and I come up to the door down, I think it's behind one of the stages, and knock. And it's like
smoke.
It's just like, I was like, do I really want?
Don't you feel obligated that you've got to smoke with him?
Yeah. I'm like, you know what? I take one step in this trailer.
You're going to be stoned anyway.
So I go in and we play. Listen, we played PlayStation. We played PlayStation together from like 11 o'clock to like 5 o'clock. For like 7 hours. I don't know what it was like. It was like I have no idea. It was a lot. And by about 10 o'clock, I was hungry, but
of course.
We ended up doing Gin and Juice together.
Celebrities on apps. Is it a thing that people do it?
Yeah.
It's hard to be a celebrity and date, right? Because you don't know what's real and what's not real.
Chris Rock was doing like this show, and he goes, I'm on Bumble. Why not? Why not? My friends are like, why not? Why are you on Bumble? He's like, because I'm fucking Chris Rock. Why would I wouldn't be on Bumble? And so there's that.
But I just didn't think celebrities really had to do that. Like, I just thought everything was kind of lined up.
You still got to grind out there, man.
I'm gonna close with this, because I had a friend call me today, and I told him that we were gonna do this interview. And he said, look, I'm a huge Chelsea Handler fan. And he's like, you got to ask him what the history is with him and Chelsea Handler. Is there history there?
Yeah.
Are we going to leave it at yeah? That's it? She wouldn't give a shit, I'll tell you that.
She's a number, smart as a whip, and
you still have her number in your cell phone?
Probably.
Did she block you? You block her?
No, she hasn't blocked me yet.
Hey, brother, I appreciate it, man. Hey, so tell everybody what you're doing, though. So we've got new record dropping spring, right?
Well, I've been really putting a lot of time into trying to promote these restaurants as much as I can right now before, I'm going on tour probably next spring and summer. I'm releasing a record. I just did a record with Zach Brown up in Nashville. Awesome. And Zach Brown's got a really cool studio called Southern Ground. And we're going to do, hopefully I'm going to release this. I got a couple of really strong singles. And I'm auditioning. It's funny, I'm just learning how to audition. Like I'm starting to audition a little bit more for, roles and different movies, and I've signed some NDAs to not like disclose what that's, to be honest, like
that means you're close if you're signing NDAs.
I get more enjoyment out of signing an NDA like on a movie that I know that's going to come out than actually auditioning for the part. It's like hopefully I'll get it.
But if you don't, you can be like, that shit was almost mine.
I was like almost, but that's a part of my career that I feel like that I haven't exposed yet, is just really learning. I'm taking some acting lessons. I've done some acting, but like there's a serious side of me that could really, communicate a role at some point in time. I did the Shenandoah thing down in Atlanta, but music and barbecue. Thanks to Tuck Wilson tonight for taking care of us, and the Wilson family is a very important part of this brand. And never saying no.
Singer, songwriter, actor Taylor Hicks, restaurateur. The last call on the next round. You were the first.
Not the last.
Hopefully not the last.
Cheers.
Presented by our friends at Redmont Vodka. We're at Saw's Juke Joint. We appreciate everybody joining us. We'll keep drinking.
Do it.